Evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Hawarden City Council on Wednesday, January 28th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Absent tonight, we have Mayor Gregg and Councilmember Clucky, and all staff and other council is present. I would like to start by asking for a motion for one of the council members to run the meeting.
I make a motion that Derek Allen run the meeting tonight.
And a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, we'll start this with our regular agenda items. Number 1A, approval of the January 14, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Anybody got anything to add for those? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
And a second. Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passes 4-0. Item 1B, approval of the January 28, 2026 claims for payment. Anybody have any questions about those? If not, I'll take a motion.
A motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passes 4-0. Next is open business from the community. Do we have anybody that'd like to speak tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on. With the mayor being gone, there's going to be no mayor's report tonight. So we'll move on to staff reports. Start with Jacob.
The only thing I'm going to report on tonight is that the previous meeting, we passed ordinance 761, but we had a clerical error as 761 was already used for our golf cart ordinance. So we have changed that to 762, and I have been instructed that that is just a clerical error and we should be good to go on that. And then outside of that, we're just working on the budget.
Okay. Travis.
Last month I attended, or last meeting, I wasn't here. I was attending the annual meeting for the Northwest Iowa Area Solid Waste Agency, so the landfill over by Sheldon where everybody's garbage goes. I was just going to fill you in on some of the topics of that meeting. The financial situation for the landfill is very solid. Last year, new netting fence was installed to catch the blowing garbage. A new cell that was needed was opened, and it's helping with high wind closure because instead of on top of the hill, they opened a new cell down below. Years past, when the wind blew real hard, they actually had to close the landfill and they weren't accepting any hauling. So this has really helped. They've only had one closure since opening that new cell. So that's good news for the haulers and the communities who, want their garbage picked up on certain days. They did approve an increase to the gate fee, which is $1 increase that'll start on July 1 of this year. And with that increase, with OC Sanitation in our contract, it'll increase our customer cost by 13 cents. I'll bring that back in June for discussion, or May. Historically, we've passed that on to our customers, but we'll have a discussion in May or June for that.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Misty.
I got nothing.
Okay. Jenny.
No, nothing, thank you.
Chief.
Just a quick policy manual update. I was notified this week that we're going to be transitioning to a new platform away from the KMS system that we're currently using. We knew this was going to happen at some point in time, but they finally let us know that it would be happening next month, February 17th. We'll lose access for about 24 hours, but I don't see this as a major hiccup other than learning the new system, and it'll actually be advantageous so the end user is not having to learn how to use two different systems. So we'll know a little bit more once we get in there and see what it's about.
Okay. Carol.
Continuing to work at the grant site with some grants that we need, trees and the acquisition of some land. The website updates, I continue to work with Civic Plus on that. it is turning out to be quite a challenge to get them to keep us informed on what we can do, who we can add. We have set up a date with them to have a meeting with the people out front, so that we can get some important information out on that website. USDA has opened up a new disaster assistance funding program that is designed to be for the cities. With the recent news from FEMA about lowering some of the funding that they're offering to cities, this will become more important. I'm having a guess that USDA was aware that this was going to happen. So they've opened up some dollars for us to go ahead and help fill that gap. So we're going to jump on board right away to work with them. That's it.
Okay. Council comments? Anybody? Okay. Next up on the agenda is agenda item number 3, Resolution 2026-04, Local Match for Hazardous Mitigation Assistance Program. I believe that falls under you, Travis.
Yes, after our flood in December of 2024, we added a property to the SWIFT Current program, which is a property acquisition designed to be quicker than the property acquisition program. It's a highly strict program, and we were able to get one home in there. And there's no cost match with that program, so that's why we went ahead and got them on there right away. The state still hasn't heard any information on funding for that program. So they're asking, out of abundance of caution, that if this program isn't funded, that we add this property to our application that we already submitted with the other homes in the property acquisition program. So, so the resolution is our local match of $34,800, but the state has assured us that the IEDA will use money to fund that instead of our local match. The resolution is still needed for the application. And the state, by saying they assured the money will be there, is because we entered this property into the program, the SWIFT Current program, under the understanding that there would be no cost to the city. So that's why the state is, by asking us to add this property to the other one, that they'll fund that local match.
Okay. Any other questions on that? All right. Can I get a motion for Resolution 2026-04?
I'll motion to approve Resolution 2026-04.
Motion by Christie. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trevor. All right, we'll take a roll call vote. We'll start with Warner.
Aye.
Boza.
Aye.
Skelling.
Aye.
And Allen is aye. Passes 4-0. Next up is agenda item number 4, which is discussion on Hawarden tree inventory. Again, this is on you, Travis.
The Iowa DNR completed last fall inventory of our trees that are on city property. So our right-of-ways, our parks, cemetery, golf course. And then we just got the results from that last month. So we wanted to discuss our inventory. There's a good link to that website in your packet and online. So we ended up with 23 trees that needed to be removed right away, and 116 dead and dying trees that need to be removed soon, but they weren't in the critical area. In that inventory, it includes 447 ash trees that we know. The emerald ash borer is here, and it's just traveling from tree to tree. So 6 years ago, that number was 660 ash trees. So we have removed 183 ourselves up until now. So my proposal is that we continue to remove as many trees. They're gonna start on those 23 next week. And then asking for $50,000 in our budget to get a contractor in and do as many as we can every year with $50,000 to keep us ahead of the trees being critical and falling over, hurting anybody. So between as many trees as we can get down a year and then with a contractor until we get at least those 447 ash trees removed. And then we plan to apply for grants. I think we're working on one now that'll help us replant trees as we go. And we'll probably have a discussion coming up when the ordinance, we need to talk about, is our ordinance set up good? Do we want trees in the right-of-ways? Do we want people to have an application so we know where those trees are being planted? Because once the tree is planted, it's up to the homeowner to trim the tree, maintain the tree. But as soon as a tree is dead or dying in the right-of-way, then it becomes the city's liability, city's responsibility. So, some things to think about and discuss. So this is just a discussion item, but we did put 50,000 in the budget to go out and contract X amount of trees for this year, and then we'll look at that list going forward as the years go.
Okay. You don't need any action on this then?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so then agenda item number 5, resolution 2026-05, adopting a federal grant policy procedures. Jacob.
Yeah, so last time that we did this was, I think, 2019, and we did them for our previous funds that we had to get from that. Any time that we're kind of getting stuff from FEMA, we need to check our procedures, and they want us to update these, which just does some minor tweaks to our internal controls to make sure that the federal funding is not being misused and that there is proper oversight over it. All of this is just put into one document, and once it's approved, I'll pass it off to the auditors for their final look over. So,
Okay. Any questions about any of that?
I do. So with the grant money, it is city money that comes in from the federal,
Yep.
right? So who decides who gets that money for whatever cause?
that is all dependent on what kind of grant money is. Some of it comes from council, some of it can come from me. It all depends on the type of funding and what the purposes of it are for.
And so that will be in this resolution then, in this policy procedures? Will that
That
be
would-
written somewhere
Yeah,
as to
it's
who-
written in there, like some of it
Already.
says that, some of it needs to go to council. It all depends
Some of
on
it.
what it is. It's written inside the policy itself already.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, any other questions on that? All right, can I get a motion for this?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-05.
And a second? Second. All right, do a roll call vote. Skelling?
Aye.
Boza? Aye. Warner?
Aye.
And Allen, aye. Opposed, the same? All right. Motion carries 4-0. The next is number 6, 2027 budget introduction.
All right. So, we kind of briefly went over this last meeting, but now you guys have the initial sheets, and what we're going to talk about here is I have now got some of the changes entered in there, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the big major changes that are happening inside our budgets that you guys have the sheets for right now, and then kind of a brief description of what we're looking at for the citizens as well. And then soon we will have, once those changes are we talk about them a little bit, we'll get all those sheets out there and they'll be available for everybody. February 11th, which is our next meeting, we will start going over the enterprise funds, and we will kind of finalize those ones and get through that. They'll have the least amount of changes. And then February 25th, we want to really finalize a lot of the general fund things. At any of these meetings, we can bring up things that are inside of there and change them, and I can get them updated on the sheets. But those are what we're going to kind of focus on during those meetings. So for this one, all I want to talk about mostly is we got the numbers in. I've got everything entered into the state form for the tax levy itself. And it looks like if we keep the dollars at where they are from last year for everything outside of the consolidated general levy, and then do the consolidated general levy at what it was, what it can be at, then our tax rate is actually going to go down from $14.41 per thousand last year to 13.02. So it is a significant decrease from last year's, and that is due mostly to our TIF. We're taking a lot less money from TIF, which increases our general fund dollars, and also from the valuations of people's property going up, which is the whole purpose of the tightening down and lowering the tax rates for everybody, so that we're not overtaxing everybody. So that is the major changes with that. Outside of that, we talked a bit about the trees. The current general fund budgets that you have in there do already have the $50,000 budgeted. It will be under the park, I believe. Section is where we kind of put that 50,000 in, marked in right now. We did about a 5 to 6% increase for insurance across the board for our general property insurance and liability insurance. And we also put in 10K for replacing camper pads. We have a few camper pads out there that are getting pretty bad, so we wanted to make sure that we're budgeting ahead of time and not doing an emergency repair and having to amend for it. Enterprise funds don't really see a whole lot of changes. We do have one exciting factor with some of the changes that we're doing in telecom. We do actually have it not losing money for the first time in a few years, mostly because the lease payment to the electric department is completed, and we will continue to try and work at some of that. Solid waste will have some changes coming up, but we don't really know what those are going to be yet. Our contract with OC Sanitation is set to expire December 31st, 2026, which will be in the middle of that fiscal year. We do not know what we are going to be looking for at numbers going forward from that point. That is the majority of all of the big changes that I have currently listed. We do have some room to move some things around. We have a moderate surplus in the general fund right now, and I will kind of break that down a little bit more once we have our numbers more dialed in. So that is a breakdown introduction of our budget with our first workshop scheduled to be next meeting. If any of you guys have any questions about those sheets or something that I can start looking into ahead of time, knowing sooner is always better for trying to get some stuff done, as we will start getting into some tight time frames. As you can see, March 25th will be the last day that I can make changes to the budget, but we won't be having a meeting in order to do that, so it will have to be agreed upon before that. So March 11th is our last meeting where we'll be able to all be together and agree on last changes to that budget. So that is all I have for that.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for him before we move on?
And then feel free to reach out to me outside of time frames too, in your guys' free time when you're going through it and looking through it. Shoot me questions. Possibly we might need to bring it up at a council meeting going forward from that if you have any ideas. So.
Okay, then we'll move on to agenda item number 7, approval of the building permit for Garrettson Construction for 813 Central Avenue.
So these next 3 items are all building permits that require approval from City Council because they are in the fire district and the fire zone. The fire zone is pretty much all of downtown, not pretty much, it is all of downtown going from 10th Street is at 7th Street on the edge, and it is on the east and west sides of Central for all of those properties facing Central. The requirement is to have a plan submitted to you guys with building materials, and then you guys would ultimately pass those building permits that way. And we did receive all of those documents as of earlier today, and I believe that they have all been distributed to you.
Okay. Everybody got a chance to look at those then? So I'll take a motion for the building permit.
A motion to approve the building permit for Garrettson Construction. Are we
Second.
doing it all together or just individually?
Individually, please.
Individually.
Okay, for the 813 Central Avenue.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same? Passes 4-0. All right, next agenda item is number 8, building permit for Wellinga Properties, 800 Central Avenue. Jacob, you got anything for this?
Just trying to remember, this is the, I was just going to probably describe where it was. Is this the old lawyer building?
Yes.
So this is the old lawyer building, right on the corner, right across the street from River's Edge. And it'll be that top section right there.
Okay, I will, nothing to add. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the building permit for Wyman Properties for 800 Central Avenue.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 4-0. And agenda number 9 is another building permit for Wellinga Properties, 806 Central Avenue.
And this is above Willow Tree.
This is above the willow tree, okay? Anybody got any questions about those? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for the building permit.
I'll make a motion to approve the building permit for Willinga Properties, 806 Central Avenue.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Passes 4-0. All right, number 10, we have a consent agenda for renewal of a Class B liquor license for Dollar General, effective March 1st, 2026, and renewal of a Class B liquor retail alcohol license for La Hispania Grocery Store, effective 2/28 of '26. All their paperwork and everything came back and,
Yep,
okay?
it's all good.
All right. If nobody has any questions, I'll entertain a motion for the 2 consent agendas.
A motion to approve the consent agendas.
Okay, and a second?
I will second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Passes 4-0. We are at the end of our agenda, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Passes 4-0. Hereby call this meeting adjourned. You got so excited last time.